Welcome to our Rolemaster actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order and Ain't No Place for a Hero are two campaigns, currently co-joined, set in the world of Duranarki, the continent of men. The game system used in our game is Rolemaster Classic, with a liberal inclusion of home rules. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 82 of Twilight of the Old Order and episode 60 of Ain't No Place for a Hero. The two parties are on a desperate quest to recover two more arcane lodestones, which they hope will lead to their escape from the strange, multi-dimensional place known as the In-Between. We pick up the story as our heroes, after some great icebolting of creatures, fighting tentacle things, and corpse and skeleton burning, take stock of the perilous situation they find themselves in.
Currency, isn't it?
It is a currency. Yeah. Possibly dinars at something or someone slightly different in this case, but yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, with no further ado, let's start the game. All right. So, you guys are here. You can all see that. Just to give you a wee visual tour. You've come in. That's Keros's ice wall, which was very, very handy. Into this area. This is this first chamber that you came into, and fought firstly 4 kind of animated corpses is probably the best description. Down here is down towards the skull that you can see in the distance. We're emanating this kind of weird, kind of strange kind of glow. And then down here is this friendly little chap, of which there seem to be the 3, 4, or 5, something like that, and then some other horrible thing that's howling off in the distance. That you've seen kind of rattling and shaking the bars. A bit further down here is the room that you that you fought the skeletons in, and I guess I'm kind of showing you this a little bit here, and I'll to give you a sense of how dark this actually is. And then through here is the room that ultimately Tanya went in and slew by herself with a natural 100, a skeleton standing right about there. And I'm kind of showing you this in this format to give you a sense of exactly how gloomy it is. To give you a sense of pretty much what you could see, or more to the point, what your characters couldn't see. That's pretty much it. So without the lantern, which Nicholas is carrying, there's this faint purple glow from outside, and indeed through here you'd be able to see into that. Just realizing I'm not recording the map, which is not very helpful. There we go. You'll be able to see into the skull room, and these horrible things are moving around here. There's a couple of other objects over here that you've seen. But it really is quite dark. What has lit things up a little bit at the very end of last session, you got a very small amount of oil, and with your where is it? There we go. I saw it. With your very small amount of oil, you were able to get a fire going. And if this thing allows me to, there we go. And what you're burning was a stack of corpses, which is lovely, isn't it? And those corpses included the four things, and you were able, through some good work from Nicholas, you were able to levitate the thing, whatever it was, that was located here, behind the ice wall. Nicholas levitated it last session and brought it round here. And you burnt those four animated things, whatever they were. And then those smaller horrendous things that came in with the tentacles. And you remember the tentacles were kind of reeling and thrashing outside here. After a time, by the way, they have begun to diminish and they have gone. But that would be a pretty fair kind of indication of really how much light there really is in this place. So if the fire, for example, goes off, and you're no longer burning corpses, you have, that's the sole lantern that I think Nicholas is currently carrying. So, just to give you a sense of, there's not a lot of light down here. I'm going to increase the light just so we can play and we can actually see things a little bit better, but I did just want to kind of demonstrate that there really isn't a lot of light. So we'll take it up to about there. So you have come through, fought various creatures, skeleton kind of things in here. You've piled the bones of the skeletons that you could recover on here. You have indeed lit a very small and quite feeble fire, and actually that pile is reasonably accurate because your couple of oil flasks, there's no way it's going to burn through all of those bodies. It will burn through a few, burn through parts of a few, but already the small fire is beginning to go out. You've come through one more room, into this room here. In this room here, there is a door here, and there is a crusty old disgusting looking mattress here. Through some really good thinking from Gray, you managed to the ice wall eventually closed with this door here, and through some magic that Gray was able to use, you locked, or certainly appeared to lock, this other door. If you remember that there were two doors where the skeletons were coming out, one here that's open that you're able to get into, and this one here that was closed. And indeed, you heard once the ice wall kind of broke down, the thudding and the banging and the crashing of weapons on the wood of that door. Whatever those horrible beings are in there, they're trying. The ice wall is now well and truly broken through, and as you can hear in the background, they're desperately trying to smash down the store. That's where we begin the game. The characters in this room aren't an actual fiction. The characters can go anywhere, but that's where we begin the game. Any kind of qualifying questions before we start, guys?
Would that be?
Demos can carry one. He can carry his spear in one hand and a torch in the other.
Doesn't he need a shield though?
I mean, ideally.
Well, I think he's a frontline fighter. I wonder if Jada would be willing.
It's a good idea.
We got our stuff, our bags, and what we had before.
Question. I assume.
I think we left quite a bit of stuff at that compound.
Yeah, we declared what we were leaving though, and we took. I mean, I can say my characters definitely took torches.
That's true.
Oh, actually, we do have all of our stuff because we initiated this move. I remember now. We'd had our night's rest, and we started to move into this room with the idea that everyone was going to move in. So it wasn't like we're taken by surprise. So yeah, I would say that we would.
If you recall, you left a lot of your equipment, things like bedrolls, and food, a lot of food, heavy things back in your companion Afsun's lair, whatever you want to call it. You've taken basic equipment with you, is my understanding. Enough not to encumber you. Ultimately up to you guys what that would be. Yeah, your call.
I think we went through it, didn't we? There wasn't an awful lot we left behind in the end, but there were just the heavy, like you say, bedrolls and those really heavy items that were weighing us down.
All right. What do you do?
So is Jada willing to light a torch?
It was Jada.
I'm happy to say in Jada's absence, Anthony will play Jada when she comes. Yep, Jada can light a torch. I will, unless that is Anthony now by any chance. No, not yet. I'm gonna that there is actually. I'll just rename that. That looks like Nicholas, but it's actually Jada with the light. So you now have two light sources. Okay. What do you do?
Leif would want to just propose something, and it might be something we want to do now, or just a thought for later. Is that he did try in the last session? He did try sleep on one of the acid-spitting creatures, and it worked. So at some point, he wonders if we're going to have to end up in the same space as those creatures, and wondered with Kiros, Leif, Nicholas, and hopefully Gray being able to cast sleep, if we were to prepare, get within range, and cast sleep on 4 that we could see, and then maybe portal through the portcullis and dispatch them, it might be one method of making it safe. Yeah. Don't know if that's for now's the right time, because we've got the other guys breaking through the door, so that's definitely put a time limit on our thing. The other thing is, did we want to try and take those undead on? There were quite a few in that room. That's his thoughts on our situation, because I think we've also got this door to explore around this room. I'd like to know thoughts from other people.
I think if with those creatures in that other room, if we think they're going to burst through anyway, there's a case where at the moment they're quite contained, and actually we could position ourselves quite effectively around that door, where you have a fighter to the left, fighter to the right. That sounds like a song. And some bow people on the far wall. Maybe quite a it's quite a sort of contained little area that we might tackle them around. If we think they're getting out anyway, I wonder whether it'd be better just to do it under our own steam.
Yeah, I mean, it was great.
Rather than them smashing through and coming up behind us when we're trying to fight someone the other way,
Yeah, because we don't know if we continue through that next door and we close the door into this main room, the one we can see on the screen behind us, we don't know if they're going to be able to, if they have got the inclination to break through it, like follow us, or if they might just forget about us. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if they hear noise, they're likely to keep doing what they're doing, right?
Yeah. What do other people think about taking them on now?
Yeah, I reckon if we can kill the things that we know are there, probably a good idea. And then we know that they're not there anymore. We can always go backwards if we need to without worrying that we're going to run into something. I mean, we probably could still do that.
Yeah, I like kind of the one bite at a time business. Deal with what we've got.
Especially in
forward a bit.
Especially in the closed space with a couple of cold balls on there. That wouldn't be bad.
I love a cold ball.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Love a
it's
cold
nearly,
ball.
oh, it's nearly Christmas.
I know. I made them put Mariah Carey on today in the lounge room.
That's lovely.
He's so nice.
I think we have Askell in the house. Hello, Askell.
Yay!
Right. It's all right. Slightly later than I thought. But,
Don't be
Yay.
sorry. You meant to say thank you for waiting.
yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
waiting.
And I'm still alive. So is Jada. So good work.
They haven't done anything yet. We're at
What?
We're
You still win the 2 questions.
yeah, we're 7:30 and nothing's happened.
We lit a torch.
You did. Jada, this is now Jada, who is also here, but she's carrying a torch, assuming Jada is okay with doing that.
Yes.
Cool. So there is so just to describe, just for Anthony's benefit, I've lit the light, I've increased the light a little bit more, but this is a reasonably accurate view of how dark it is in here. The thumping that you can hear behind you is creatures. You're presuming the skeleton creatures that Gray was able to use the spell and basically lock and close that door. This is the room that you fought them in. There's the altar there. There's a very stout door on this side, pretty rugged. It's got some pretty impressive both deadbolts and pretty intact, similar to this door here, which is unopened. And inside this room, there is a moldy old mattress, and that's pretty much where you're at. I think you're all caught up.
Awesome. Yep. We've gone too far. Yep.
Great. Well, should we position anyone not want to position themselves around the door with the banging and have a go?
I'm keen.
Now let's
Motion
do
carried.
it. Let's
Right,
get into
okay.
it.
Let's go.
Mason's
No.
leading the pack.
So yeah, Mason, I think we need to put you somewhere where your spear can do some stabbing.
Right, front and
Because that's
centre.
quite that's well, maybe not front center.
Yeah,
but,
not front and center. A little to the
Can we should put it, I reckon, like a couple of characters, because you can stab past, can't you?
Yes. Yep.
So if we put one fighter on the left, say, with you behind, and then another fighter on the other side, with I guess someone in support there, and then some bow people opposite the door, flanked by more fighter people, that might work, mightn't it?
Yep. No, you mean sort of surround the door, the first.
Yeah, so two frontline fighters either side of the door, and Demos with his pointy spear behind one of them, and then another fighter in support in case the one on the other side goes down. Then on the opposite wall,
Okay.
I guess, who has got bows, and then some other fighter people who can rush in and come between the bow people and the.
Yep. And support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a question. So we're assuming the creatures might well flood in. So we might prefer to have a person blocking, like directly in front of the door.
Could do.
Who knows what? Who knows what their tactics are going to be like?
I suppose if you see where Tenya is now. There's the pool of blood. If that blocking if we put the bows there, they advance into the room. They can sort of because they'll be.
Or shoot
it's not
people
going to
behind.
work. Yeah, they'll have to be face on.
Just a question, Gray. Could you read out the description of the spell that you cast on the door one of the last actions of last game, please?
Yes. He did one called jamming, which causes a door to expand and jam into its frame. The roll is 1 to 100 in severity and ranges from slightly stuck to unopenable. And I'm pretty sure he rolled like a 95 or something.
He did. He
It was
rolled
quite unopenable.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. A nice ball might take it out though.
How long does it last?
It doesn't really say.
Should have a duration.
Duration is P. Permanent.
P for permanent. So it's a really stuck door.
Oh, well, maybe don't worry about this now then.
That's what I was going to say. Is like if it's really, really jammed, if we don't need to go in there, you could just leave it. But you just, I guess, they may hack through it. Is it wooden or metal door or what?
It's wood. It's pretty solid. It is wood, but it looks, they'll be banging on this now. It's taken you probably a good, call it 20 minutes to dice up the bodies, do all that horrible stuff, light a small fire and get them going, basically soothe some nerves. And in that time, they've been smashing at that door once you heard the ice wall come down. And there's certainly no sign of any weapons coming through that door that they're banging on. Not a chance. It seems pretty solid.
Maybe we just leave it for Remit then. It seems a bit crazy to undo our own work.
Should we kill those like acid spitting monsters though? The ones that we can put to sleep, perhaps?
Yeah, or should we just see, because this door will probably take us to a room where we can see them from a different side. That might actually be quite helpful.
Let's try that.
And I think we've got to be really careful when we go through this door that we actually not caught in acid blast again, because presumably we were quite close to the grate on the other side. Something to consider.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think there's much point in being quiet.
I think they know.
Yeah, I think that, should we just kind of open the door and see what rolls out?
Yeah.
In a similar fashion to what we were going to do with the other door.
Yep.
And then if nothing rolls out, go in.
Nicholas will want to summon his whistling beforehand.
Okay. Nicholas summoning a whistling. Any other preparations from anybody else, please?
So has Askell or Jada done any spell preps or anything like that?
Nothing.
Right. Okay.
Oops. Whoops. Sorry.
Yep. So here's a question then, GM. Like when I say Jada casts the shield spell, which is instant, would it be something that gets in the way? Like if she casts it, then she tries to walk through a door. Does it like bump? Like she's got a.
Yep. Get it. Have a look at the description. I think it says it operates as a normal shield. So I think you're good.
As in, you should have to turn sideways and shuffle through the door, and then that sort of thing.
No. As in a shield that would. No. As in a shield that you'd use in front of you. So no, it's not massive.
Oh yeah.
No, it's like have a look at the description of the spell, but I'm pretty sure it functions as a normal shield does. So it's not like it's massive. It's not like it encapsulates her or encompasses her in a gigantic screen or anything like that.
Oh yeah. But then equally, does it move with your arm or something?
What's the description of the spell?
Oh, you would say that, and I'm just gonna find my glasses.
Pretty sure I'll be able to. Let's see.
Creates an invisible force shield in front of the caster. It subtracts 25 on the melee and functions as a normal shield.
That's it.
So I'm more looking. Does it? It functions like a normal shield. So if they're to move their arm, would it move to their left, right, front, that sort of thing?
Yes. If it's attached to their shield, yes. If it's attached to their arm, yes.
I'm just looking at it as a manoeuvring type thing, like we're going through doors and I'm looking at crowded, limited space.
Yep.
A shield that gives 25 to melee and missile is a full shield.
Correct.
So
it's not as big as a kite shield or a wall shield, but it's a decent sized shield. Other descriptions for it are like a heater shield. It's a decent sized shield, but it's not like a force field which covers the character. It operates like a Yeah, like a large shield is probably the best description.
Yeah. So
Yep.
where else will we come from? Will it be a manoeuvring pain in the ass going through doorways, etc.?
No, in the same way that someone with a sword and shield keeps a shield in front of them, they can move through a doorway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so essentially Eskel and Jada would just cast shield spells.
Okay. So a spell from both Nicholas, Jadar, and Askel. Go for it. Take your time and make your rolls. Obviously, you're taking 40 seconds prep.
Yep. So Eskel's got to do that transcend armor.
He does. Yes.
Nicholas rolled a 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is not a failure. So the whistling Pete is a sec. The whistling is now engaged.
Yeah. That's cool. Thank you.
All right. And Askel?
So first roll transcend armor.
Yes, please.
Got a 32 plus bonus of plus 45.
That is, you need to top 101. I'm afraid that doesn't do it. Make the roll, please. Assuming you want to make the roll, you can always. You don't have to make the roll.
Yeah, I will anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Okay. So, what type of armor is he wearing again, please?
Ribbed leather.
Yep. There's like a.
Oh, you want the number?
Yeah.
A -2.
No, it'll be a lot bigger. Oh, it'll be.
You want 80?
Yeah, 80 something.
I've got the wrong bit of my sheet here.
Hang on. That's cool. Here we go. I might be able to. Where is it? Yeah, 10D is what you're wearing. So you're wearing leather, brigandine, breastplate, and greaves. You got a negative 35 to this roll because basically what this means is you're a bit. It's that horrible, massive 8-foot thing, by the way. It's not happy. Basically, with the transcend armor, it's an ability or it's an attempt for your character to try to say, "Hey, I can tough this out. I'm not restricted by wearing armor." Askel didn't make that roll, and he rolled an 8, so that's a failure. Can you roll a spell failure, please? And that's modified by 35. Yeah, negative. So 35 plus. Give me a roll, please.
23.
23 is a 58. So Askel, oh man, that really hurt. You tried to cast the spell, and you just lose it. It just it tries to happen, but it just doesn't come. You lose the spell, but not the spell points.
Right.
So
Cool.
basically not stunned or anything, but you're just kind of reeling a little bit from just that was not good. Not as serious as it could have been.
Oh, yeah. So no damage either.
No damage.
Okay.
And Jada doing the same thing.
Yep. If she doesn't have any armor, so she is 50.
50. Cool. No problem. Zing with a... Yep, with a... Just getting a bit of feedback there, guys. I wonder if that's... Is that me or someone else? Is that better? Hello, hello, hello? I think it's something... Yeah. I think, Anthony, you might want to check your settings for echo cancellation and things like that behind you.
Okay.
On your Discord. Anyway, that was successful, and the spell's cast. So, Askell, you're standing there a little bit kind of not stunned, but that didn't quite go as planned. Any other actions from you?
No.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything? Any other prep I should be aware of?
Just getting the axe ready for some chopping.
Some chopping, sure. Anybody else?
Etienne will prepare but hold, depending on what happens.
Sure.
Comes through the door.
Okay.
And I guess the rest of my lot will position themselves ready to open the door.
Cool. So who's going where?
Well, Severin's happy to go on one side of the door. Tanya will put an arrow and face directly opposite the door.
Okay.
So Etienne will stand off to one side, holding the spell.
Yep.
Within 50 foot.
Hang on, I'll just come and and sort this in a tick. Just give me 1 second. Yep. Cool. Right. So, talk me through this, please, Graham. You got the talking stick at the moment.
So yeah, I think Severin will go on one side of the door so that he can open it and step back.
Okay. Yep. Oh. Shivers. Yep. Okay. Severin, bang. Yep.
Yeah, so just stay to the left of the door.
Yep.
And we'll say for the sake of argument, unless somebody else wants to take that position, Neathanel to his left flank.
Okay. Yep.
So, not in front of the door,
Yeah, getting there. Yep.
And then leaving room in front of the door so that if Tanya stands at the opposite side of the room pointing a bow directly at the door, that she wouldn't hit anyone.
Okay. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And others, where are other people positioning themselves, please?
I do want to check. I'll put my headphones back in. Will be with Tanya being directly opposite, because in the past we've sort of had risks of hitting people.
Well, I think if there's a clear channel being left, we'd be smart to keep that open, right? At least for the first things that come through the door, so at least one volley can go off.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
So, not what we're seeing there, clearly.
Okay, so Mythan will do the same as Tanya, have her bow out, but she's intending to switch to her sword as soon as she can. Leif can be in the same position as Neathanel on the other side, or no, maybe Leif will take...
It is getting quite crowded in here.
Yeah. Leif, no, I think there are other fighters that can take that position. Leif the door in. Nicholas will be next to him.
Okay, so we've got some light in there. All right.
Yep. So yeah, Nicholas will be where he is. I love how you've attached the lantern to him. And Leif will be over where he is. That's fine.
Okay. Askell, where are you positioning yourself, please?
Where's he again?
Sorry?
Where's he again?
Currently there.
Alright. Can you change your view slightly?
Yep.
That give you a bit more bird's eye view.
Yeah. How about that?
Oh yeah, cool. That's better. That's probably fine, given we're pretty crowded.
All right. Other characters. Gray. Etienne. Sorry, Gray. Yep.
Is Gray currently in a blood pool room?
Gray is. I just put people randomly. I put him randomly here, but he can be wherever you like.
I mean, it's getting pretty crowded there, and he's been hit by arrows before, and I don't think he wants to do that again. So I guess he'd kind of he'd probably keep staying where he's staying out here, just waiting to run in if he's needed.
Okay.
He'd want to be kind of close to the door, so
Out there.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have Jadar there, so there's actually double Jadar. Jadar with the lamp and Jadar without the lamp. Is that about right for her, or is she somewhere else, please, Jadar?
Yep. Yeah, it looks all right. Obviously the room's getting a bit too crowded, but so out here, so we've got a lot of the offensive people in that room, and we've got enough defensive people out here, just in case something sneaks up behind us.
Yep. Keros and Demos, where are you guys going?
Well, Keros is conscious of the stern lecture that she's had previously, so she will be preparing, but staying behind our buff
So about there.
soldiers. Yeah, or even slightly. Can she move forward a wee bit, or is it just too much?
It's getting, I mean, this is a room that's 5, 10, 15...
It's chockers,
Well,
yeah.
not quite. It's 20 foot by about 20 foot. So obviously those stands take up a lot of room. So more people, everybody could actually fit inside there. But to swing weapons comfortably, it's getting cozy.
Yeah. Look, she's very contrite after her last experience, and she has done some self-reflection on it. So she will hang back, but be prepared to cast if the opportunity arises, and rush forward and sort of elbow people out of the way if need be.
All right. And lastly, Demos, please.
Where is he? Is he?
He's currently there, but you can put him wherever you wish.
Who is on the other side of the door from Severin?
I had Mithan.
Mithan was next to Tenya with the bow, right at the far end of the wall.
Okay, I'm running out of space here, so who's...
Can Moss and Mithan like swap places, or?
Yep.
Mithan, is that okay?
Yep. And
That's what was meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
Mithan is back here. Nicholas with the light is kind of in the corner there, and Tanya is kind of there. Is that about right?
And you're where?
It's not strictly accurate, guys, but yep, we've got Severin here, we've got Demos to one side, we've got Neathanel here, Etienne here, Leif here, Askell here, Nicholas here, Tanya here, and Mithan there. Okay, cool.
Just one thought. I reckon there's room for Askell, sort of opposite Neathanel, if he wants to go there. Anthony?
That would seem sensible, yeah. I think the idea is having a couple of fighters either side of the door and a couple of bows opposite the door.
So there's...
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's no way for the bow people to fire through at the moment, but just so you're aware. Okay, great. We're now set up. Let's go. What happens?
So if the fighters on either side had their backs against the walls, are you saying that we couldn't fire some arrows straight down the middle?
Well, currently Neathanel's in the way.
No. If the fighters had their backs against the walls,
Correct?
either side.
Neathanel's not a fighter. She's currently...
Okay. If the characters either side of the doors had their backs against the walls,
Yes.
will we be able to fire some arrows down the middle?
Well, where's Neathanel at the moment? She's currently right in the middle. She's right between the bow people, which are here, and there.
But she's not because of her stand, because of the limitations of the arrangement, I reckon.
So she was supposed to be at Severin's. I'll just send a little diagram. Hang on.
No. Yeah. Don't worry about a diagram. Just tell me where she is.
Okay. To Severin's flank on his left shoulder, so that she's standing with her back to the wall.
Okay.
So Etienne can come out of the way. So that Severin has his back. She's to the side of the door. Neathanel standing next to Severin, also not covering the door.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
So there's a sort of tunnel, if you like, going down the middle.
Got it.
With people with swords either side.
Got it. Cool. What happens?
No. Has the door got a handle on this side?
It does.
Is it locked? I mean, has it got bars and things?
It doesn't have bars.
Yep. I mean, do we have to unbar it or just to, you know, what am I looking at? Is it just it's got a handle and that's it?
It's got a door handle, yep.
Okay, maybe it'd be worth just Neathanol checking for trap on the door.
Okay.
Not Neathanol, sorry, Tanya.
Okay. Could you make a roll, please?
$48.
48, marvellous, thank you. That is must. Let's have a look. Cool. What's her either detect traps or perception, please? Whatever's the most relevant. So half her perception or a detect traps. What's better? Whatever's better.
Oh, half perception's better actually. So half of 77. Whatever that is.
7, 2 is 38. 38 plus 48. Okay. I mean, the light is pretty rubbish in here. I mean, she is an elf. She's got better eyesight than certainly the humans, and Nicholas is there, kind of with the lantern at the back, kind of waving it. But yeah, the lighting's not great.
I'll bring a torch up.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, she thinks it seems like okay. Yep. She can't see anything obvious.
Okay. All right. Well, she'll retreat back, take position, and then Severin will kind of hold his hand up to check that everyone's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And does the door open outwards or inwards?
It opens towards you.
No, that's annoying. In which case, everyone's going to need to shuffle a bit as we open the door. Which way does it open? Is it open towards his face or towards Demos's face?
Towards his face.
In which case, they'll have to shuffle back a bit.
Okay, done.
And then on the count of, not the count of three, on the wave of three, when everyone's ready, he'll reach forward, open the door, step back, allowing the bow people to fire if necessary.
So he touches the door.
Yes.
With his hand.
Yes, with his mailed fist. Yes.
By himself.
By himself.
All alone.
Yeah.
In the dungeon.
Well, yeah. I think it's got a few people around him, but yeah.
He reaches forward. Tension is mounting. His hand reaches for the handle. He pulls it down and it's locked.
Ah, boo. All right. Back to Tenya then.
Okay.
Hang on. Can she have a crack at picking locks, please?
Sure thing. Give me a roll. With a bit more lights.
Yeah, bring the light forward.
Yep. Give me a picking locks roll, please.
41 plus 44.
Just coming. Gets bonus moderate lighting in here. Okay. Yeah, so she's fiddling around with this thing. She doesn't think it's that hard. Like she doesn't think it's a particularly challenging lock. Like she almost had it. You can all hear, you're kind of all waiting with bated breath, and she kind of twists the lockpick around, and you can almost hear the tumbler turn. But she just doesn't quite do it right. If she thinks about it for another, say, 20 seconds or so, she can give it again another try with a +5.
All right. Or Neathanol can take over, whatever's easier.
Your call.
Well, Neathanol will have a go. Why not? She's got a better plus, I just realised.
She won't get the +5, but that's alright.
No, that's fine.
Cool. Give me a roll.
That 2.
Oh. Okay, roll again, please.
88. Brilliant.
Okay. All right. So, if picking a lock, your lockpick is broken and stuck in the lock. So she's fiddling with it, and there's this god almighty snap of the metal, and that's it. There's the piece of metal is just jammed in there completely, and that lock is kaput.
Okay, she'll start casting.
Okay.
She'll try and magically open it.
Okay, sure thing. She prepares.
Go the full 4 rounds.
By the way, that's like quarter of a lockpick gone. I don't know who's got a lockpick,
Okay.
but that's part of a lockpick is now gone. It's now broken.
Okay, so she fully prepares, does a lot of swinging around of arms and chanting or whatever else is required.
the door?
Jumping up and down.
Does
What was
touching the door help?
What?
Does touching the door help?
Yes, it gives a plus 30.
Touch, then caress the door. And then would like to cast.
Go for it.
Oh, 7.
7 plus 20 for prep is a 57. The spell is successful. What's the description of the spell, please? And we need a...
The spell is unlock 3. Hang on a moment.
And that was a spell. That went off.
Cool, hang on a minute. Unlock 3 is like unlock 1. The spell has a 70% chance of opening any non-magical lock. If the lock is not unlocked, there's a 10% chance that if there's any traps associated with the set off, rolls are open-ended. And it's unlock 3, however, so it's a 70% chance of opening and a 6% chance of setting off any traps if there are any.
Okay. What would you like to roll first? The traps or the lock?
The lock.
Okay. So 70 or under, and the lock is opened.
15.
15. That is a success. And the lock very happily opens.
Sorry, folks, that was took longer than I thought.
And your chance, a 6% chance of setting off any associated traps. Give me a roll. If it's 6 or under, you're in trouble.
16.
16, you're good. The lock is now open.
Nice. All right, she'll shuffle back in position then.
Okay.
Ready, everyone? Unleash hell, etc. All right, then we'll do the whole shuffle back, open door, weapons out, bows at the ready, go. A big door.
It is quite a big door. The door opens. And inside, I'm just going to borrow Nicholas and some light. Oops. A small room. A very small room, actually. Only about 15 foot long. And I'll describe it in a second. So, yeah. I mean, so it's full of kind of wooden rubbish. There's bits of kind of mouldering old crates in the room. There's kind of bits of wooden furniture scattered around, but very, very small. It's only, as you can see on the map, it's only 5-10 foot across and 5, 10, 15, 20 foot down. Just kind of rubbish in the room. From what you can see, however, a bit further along, I'll bring it up this way. Through in here, oops, directly in front of this room, however, is a doorway. Not a door, but a doorway leading into another room. The doorway is open, and directly in front of you, I'll just see if I can position this a little bit better. Bang. And we'll move that in, and down, and down. There we go. Thank you, Nicholas, for being our torchbearer. So Nicholas is going to move through. Obviously he's not, but just for the purpose of the fact that he can actually display what's going on. Yeah, directly in front of you is another room, a larger room from what you can make out within the shadows. You haven't got very far. And directly through in that other room appears to be, right in front of you as you can see there, is an old well. Looks like an old well. What do you do? Just increase that light a little bit more so you can see a little bit better.
Happy to send appropriately the whistling in.
Okay.
If that's okay with everyone else, and Nicholas will quietly narrate what he is seeing.
Any other actions from anybody?
Yes, Chris.
Yep.
I overlooked something when we were doing our rolls, but much to your delight, I actually rolled a 50.
Sorry?
Askell rolled a 50.
Right.
Yeah. So isn't it 50? There's something happens.
Yes, there is.
Honest Askell here. I just was doing something about. Hang on. I better.
I really appreciate your honesty. I'll tell you what. Because thank you for your honesty. I think because the story's moved on, I'm going to pick my moment, but I'm going to ask you to roll again, Askell, and let's see what happens. We won't do it right now because the story has kind of moved on a little bit, but at a moment, at a particular moment, I'm going to ask that 50 to reappear. Thank you for your honesty and your appreciate. And in fact, experience points for your honesty. Thank you, Askell / Anthony. Not right now, but yes, we will definitely come back to that 50. Thank you. Cool. Other actions, anything else I should be aware of from the rest of the party?
Severin will keep his hand on the door, so he's ready to slam it shut should anything come, if he thinks he needs to, while we wait for a whispering report.
Okay. Any other actions from characters back in here? Grey, Keros, Demos, Jadar?
I guess we'll probably start to follow into the room as people move forwards.
Yep, sure.
Kind of
At this stage, everybody has stayed where they are in this room, so Nicholas hasn't actually moved forward. I'm just using his token to light the way, basically. But
okay.
but yes, once people start doing that, sure thing. Keros? If nothing, no need to respond.
Sorry.
No obligation.
No, sorry, I was talking to myself. No, I'm still obviously prepping and ready to go if needs be.
Cool. All right. Demos. Anybody else? No requirement to speak, of course. It's just I just want to make sure that everybody gets some airtime, some time in the spotlight. So sing out if anybody's doing anything. Going once, going twice, gone. Okay. Whistling time. So. The whistling spell has indeed been cast. It sounded like this when it was cast. Maybe not. Perhaps not quite that loud, but you now have a whistling at your disposal, Pete. What happens?
Woohoo! Sending it through.
Okay.
Cautiously keeping it up high as possible, and and of course it's limited by the amount of light getting through to where it can be.
Sure thing. There is actually a moderate amount of light, both from Nicholas's lantern, not a lot, but also there is also some coming through from that eerie purple glow. And this is what Nicholas sees. It's another room. Looks like this, and there's another grate here. I'm kind of mapping out the room, as you can see. There's another door here. I'll just get rid of that little cover that's on it. There you go. So there's another door here. And I'll describe the room in its totality in a second. I'm just getting rid of the darkness. So there's this broken down kind of well here. There we go. Oh, damn it. And this is probably, I guess, somewhat accurate in terms of what the Whispling would actually be seeing and doing. Except, maybe not quite that. Actually, GM's going to do this. GM's going to take off the screen, talk amongst yourselves for 2 ticks. I'll reveal the room, and we'll go from there.
I suppose we know what's it seen if Nicholas has seen it thus far. So I suppose we can have a discussion about what to do. But it looks like there's a grate in that room, and I don't fancy us going in there until we've cleared those spitty monsters out.
So the plan for the
My worry is that one of these doors is going to
Open.
trigger it, yeah.
Well, I wonder if we go back, we just leave this room for as it is, close the door again, before perhaps anything realizes that door's been unlocked, and go back and try and. So the plan for my thinking for those monsters is putting them to sleep. So we've got perhaps four if they're an animal. Is that right, Gray? If they're an animal, then he can sleep them too. So that's perhaps 4 at once, if we all prep and all sort of coordinate our efforts, and if all spells go off and all resistance rolls are failed, whatever, who knows. So hopefully, and if they're all in the same area, they might not be in sight. Don't know what to do if they are, but the idea would be that perhaps if we were to get some put to sleep, then if we make a portal through, we can go through and kill them. Coup de grace, or whatever it's called. I don't know. So we'd need Keros to do the portal. So that's making the portal through the portcullis. The risks are that whilst doing that, if we haven't put all ones we've seen to sleep, they could come in as we're trying to kill them off. Also, if they're still yelling and shouting and screaming, then after their first round of sleep, they'll be, which is a magical sleep because they fall to the ground and don't wake up from falling to the ground. But after the first round of sleep, it's a natural sleep. So if there's still something still making a noise or something still banging loud enough to wake them up, they could wake. One thought would be if someone's got a silence spell, so they can, in a particular radius, it's like no sound can enter and no sound can leave, sort of thing. I don't know if any of the sneaky people have got a silence spell, but that would be really helpful.
Sadly, no. Neathmal can teleport through.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I think it's up to Neathmal to do it.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry, just a little bit of narration, and then I'll leave you guys to do a bit of checking. So, this room and the Whispling does a pretty intense circuit of checking it all. It's only about 15 foot wide, as you can see there on the screen. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 foot long, so it's quite long. At the very far end, and that horrible thing isn't necessarily there, it's kind of scuttling around somewhere else, is the portcullis. There is a door here, as you can see. There is also another door here, in this little alcove there. You can kind of make it out just there. In the room is as you can see there, is a decrepit well. Also in here, these things really don't like you very much. Also in here is, you can see these objects, and coming up into the Discord now, you can see like and it's hard for the Whispling to see, but like a short sword. It doesn't look in great condition. A skeleton collapsed on the ground. Quite a lot of more wooden kind of waste, like bits of boxes and material, lumps of wood, etc., just kind of scattered around the ground. A candelabra, you can see over here. A crate here with a kind of a rag over the top of it. And yeah, a set of kind of wood carving tools and some what look like, it's hard for the Whistling to see, of course, but some like chess pieces apparently look like maybe made out of wood, and like some piece of a musical instrument or something like that. Yeah, that's it. I'll leave you guys for your chatting while the GM heads to the loo for a second. Okay, so the Whistling's going through the portcullis. Okay, by itself. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll learn in the dark. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, let's do a drive-by. Let's do one of these. Bang. So it heads on through here. So this is the other door you can see there. So a bit more of a description of this room. It's flown around. There's that skeleton that I mentioned. There's the well. There are the other characters back through in the other room. There's kind of rubbish and stuff lying around here. It flies through the bars, and there's nowhere near, actually the light, that's way too generous with the light. The light really is kind of that at best. You know, it's not a particularly friendly setting, to be fair. That's the direction it's come. It's coming in here, and there's some kind of debris lying around on the grounds. It looks like just like bits of rubbish, you think. Perhaps more wood stuff. Over here, there's like what looks like a wooden, a stone chest and a big kind of ewer. There's one portcullis here, another portcullis here, going off into the gloom. This one here is, you've seen the creatures come to and fro here. This was the main entrance, so that's originally where you guys came through, and you can just make out Keros's ice wall there. And then this was the this was the other area. This is the other view that you had with the columns in that room previously. So you've moved from here where you came in to the second view of the portcullis, down here where you fought the animated dead corpses, I guess you could call them that, to where you are now. So yeah.
She'll have to be able to see it. My guess would be that if she was to actually, we should examine the floor in the little room, and if she was to, I don't know if she can get a sight from anywhere else we've been, actually, apart from she goes through that little room that we've just opened up and sticks her head out momentarily and looks down that way through that portcullis. She would see exactly the place where she wants to put it.
Can Jada make her invisible?
Don't forget that there's this quite high kind of pillar or thing here.
So no, could she? No, she couldn't.
Keros would need to come further into here to see it.
Oh, sure. Yep, I reckon if Jada made her invisible, that's a great idea.
And what if we were to try and make a noise in the very far room to encourage them to go down that through the archway?
There's,
Depending on how many are in there at the moment.
yeah, definitely. I'm sure we can distract them through. The only problem is, like I said before, is that once they're asleep, they're only properly asleep, well, only magically asleep for the first round. If they continue to bellow and have noise that will wake them up, they will wake up. So as soon as they're asleep, we need to act really quickly.
So, Chris, based on our experience so far, they seem to move around a bit. Would that be correct in saying?
Yeah, from what you've seen, there are these 4 kind of dog-like things. Pete, if you've got the image of those too, that'd be handy. That would be really handy, thank you. And then there is this really tall, hideous thing that Peter's very kindly posted into the chat. And yes, they've got free reign clearly of this area. You don't know what's obviously in through here, but they seem to have had free reign into this area here. Oh, that's not very helpful. Into this area here. Why is that not? Sorry, guys. I'm not quite sure what happened there. So they're moving around. That's what I should have done. So they're moving around very freely here. They're coming in and out of this area here, and then this was the set of bars that you got spat at as well, and they seem to have free movement here. Yeah, they trot around. They're not spitting nearly as much. Yeah, you're not sure why, but they're spitting occasionally. But they are moving.
Yes. I guess our optimum then, unless anyone feels indifferent, would be to cast that wall when there are 2 in the main arena. Would that be a good thing to do, do we think?
I reckon.
A good number, and then that gives you a good chance of being able to sleep both of them.
Yep.
Nathan would have to be pre-prepared, probably already invisible, to teleport herself through, and then kill them. I guess it would be good to have some sort of backup plan if things go awry in terms of getting her back, because obviously she'd have to recast. That'll take some time. Does anyone else, Keros, you can open a hole. Does anyone else have any other means of getting her back?
Nicholas can do hole 2.
So if Nicholas was to start preparing immediately, just in case, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Ray could make her fly over the top of that cutlass.
Oh, sorry. No, the portcullis goes
All the way up.
to the roof. I'm sorry. Yep.
You couldn't do that then.
Flying wouldn't help because of the acid, obviously. Oh, it was 25 feet high. Yeah.
Also, Nicholas is going to be preparing sleep, so he'll be intending to cast one of the sleep spells.
Yeah. What I'm saying is immediately after you've done the sleeps, could you guys all start preparing just in case it all goes tits up?
Yep.
In case she needs to get out of there.
Yep. I think that sounds sensible.
And so, Chris, that would be roughly our plan then, I think, unless someone else has anyone to ask. Anyone else on the plan?
No.
No.
Anyone else?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. You got a plan? Tell me what happens.
Oh, sorry. How far apart are the bars?
Oh, yeah, good question. Call it say 4 inches. So that's what maybe 10 centimeters apart. As mentioned, Keros, you would definitely need to come into this room to get a proper view of where you'd be casting the ice wall. Just peering around the corner is not going to be good enough. Just as a heads
Yeah,
up.
no worries.
But you're talking about being invisible. Okay, cool.
Yep, I think that if we wanted to, I think that Tanya would, Nathaniel should inspect, if we're just being careful of traps, inspect the little room.
Oh yeah,
Quick-
sure.
quickly.
Yes, and Tanya. I'll send Tanya in there.
So
Obviously creeping.
Mhm.
And giving a good look around.
So you put some. You put some lights at the doorway. Hang on a sec, guys. I'll just 1 second. So you put some light at the doorway, and what happens, please, Tanya?
Well, first of all, just let the lights sit and make sure the creatures aren't too plussed by it.
Mm-hmm.
And once she's satisfied that they haven't responded to that, she will have a peek around in the room and very carefully sort of use her full senses to check for anything untoward. She's particularly interested in any tripwires, any stones, flagons that maybe look like they're not quite even with the others in terms of with some sort of pressure platform or anything like that. That kind of thing. Secret doors, all the usual, and then creep round, checking out the room quietly.
So she checks this room that the light's in now, correct?
Correct.
Great. Cool. Can you give me firstly a stalking maneuver?
E82.
82, sure thing. What's her stalk?
Uh, 131.
Jesus. Cool. Okay. You guys, if you closed your eyes, Tanya just wouldn't exist. She makes absolutely no noise whatsoever. She is as silent as the opposite of that dog. Yeah, you're very silent. You go in. Can you make a perception roll, please? Or looking for plus 38, I think we said it was.
Yeah.
Give me a roll, please.
14.
14. It's masked, remember? So it could be very good. Okay. What do we say? 38. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, Tanya has a really good look around this little room here. So she scans the walls here. She inspects pretty thoroughly. She is pretty convinced. She's taking her time, tapping on stones, etc. She's pretty convinced that in this room, you're good. There's nothing here.
Okay. And then the next room, would she need to take the light, or could she do it without it? Is there enough pink in there?
She would need certainly some light behind her would be useful.
Okay, well, I think she would put the light just inside the door and then remain still and out the way, and just check if there's any reaction from the creatures.
Okay.
And then just hold tight for a bit. She'd also be particularly careful about crossing the threshold. Same checking for stuff as she did before.
Okay.
And yeah, repeat the process, I guess, but just being mindful of any creatures.
Yep, sure thing. So she, who's bringing the light, or what's the light source? Does she bring the lantern herself?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, so she picks up.
I think she's mindful. Obviously, there's some acid could come through that grate. She knows it's around the corner, so she'll put the lantern there and retreat, and just sit it out, just see if there's any reaction. And if there's nothing there, she's pretty certain she can't hear anything. She'll then move forward, look
Okay.
cautiously.
So you do have a shuttered lantern there, which means that the amount of light that is displaying on the screen that you guys can see there now is not what that is the maximum that the lantern could be. You could also shutter it down to just quite a small like tunnel of light to inspect a certain area, so it's actually not throwing off nearly as much light as that. Doing so, she puts it by the door, and there's kind of a beam of light that comes out and illuminates this old, decrepit, quite horrible looking well here. She gives it 5 minutes, and there's no sign from the other bars. In fact, the kind of the roaring and the hissing has gone down too. You can't really hear that anymore. The banging on the doors stopped, and the hissing stopped, and the roaring of that big creature stopped. It's gone relatively quiet. The horrible sounds that you're hearing are more in the background. They're more further into this complex. So she's left it a bit of time. There doesn't appear to be any reaction to the light. What happens now?
So she cautiously goes forward, checking the threshold through the doorway, and then just has a.
Could you give me a stalk roll first, and then a detection, please?
+64.
+1 3 something stupid. Yep.
Yep.
Fair to say that's a successful. I'm going to call that a light maneuver. There's a bit of quite a lot of debris and stuff under the ground and underfoot. An 8 for the detect. Thank you. Okay. Oops. Where is it when you need it? Oh, okay. And 38, correct? Yep. Yeah, so she's moving forwards, and she gets to about there, and something kind of, just for a second, captures her attention. She thought that she heard maybe movement through the portcullis, and kind of goes, no, it wasn't. It was okay, and is just about to step forward, and yeah, there's something slightly, not very, but slightly odd about this piece of flooring here. There's a kind of a, like the flooring's flat, flagstone, and just in the nick of time, she noticed that quite a large part of this flagstone is just slightly raised. It just doesn't look quite natural. There's something not right about that area.
Okay. I think she will creep back and tell the others that she thinks that the entranceway is booby-trapped. Potentially, it could raise the portcullis. We don't know. It could be a trap. It could be anything. But it wouldn't be. It would be risky to go through there unless we were going to miss that flagstone completely. She asks Nicholas whether there is another angle on that archway that he's noticed, or does it have to be from this portcullis?
What does Nicholas know?
What I showed you. You saw that through here, perhaps up here, maybe.
Yeah.
But the best angle, really the only direct angle, is the way that you're intending to go.
You could have Keros flying. Flying invisible.
So there's definitely. I mean, do you want to just use the whistling to see if you can get an angle on it from the other way before we do that?
Absolutely. Or? Yeah. If the whistling can move and look at other angles, it would.
Sure. As I said before, just really keen that everybody has their moments in the sun the time in the spotlight. Is any other character doing anything? Demos, or Askell, or Grey, or anybody else?
We need a bit of guidance of from what's being scoped out ahead, just to rather than us all just standing around. Well, I mean, we can literally just stand around if that's the best option as well. But I guess it's just hearing guidance back. Like, should we stay, or are we going to draw, or go around another way?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I don't know if there's anything much for other people to do at the moment, which is why it'd be nice to sort of move it on, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if the people who are going to cast sleep would be perhaps through in the other room. I don't know.
So my take overall is, they wouldn't put the nastiest things somewhere that you could just go around them. So I guess ultimately we're going to need to go through.
Yeah.
Some way.
So do you mean getting rid of them is a good idea?
Yeah. Acknowledge. Is that potentially a booby trap thing there, or razor dog? But yeah, I guess it's figuring out whether it's going back and then just lobbing from a distance and getting them. But
They tend to run away though. Last time we shot them with stuff, they scarpered.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get an angle on it from that other grate, let's do that. See if we can get trap all but two of them. That's the first step, isn't it?
From the other grates, from here to there. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's do the.
Who's got a mirror?
You could always chuck something at that flagstone, like, get everyone to withdraw, have a door ready to close, then someone throws some debris.
But it's slightly, but what was it opens all the portcullises? I don't know if we want.
Also in this game, remember that there is such a thing as open-ended, and that's what one character reported that they think they saw, or they're certain they saw. It may not be what they saw, of course.
Who's willing to risk it? Not me.
You can close the doors, I guess, so there's that option.
So yes, going up to those bars, you can get an angle on another angle on, but you'd have to be right up at the bars, like right up at them, to see through. So if you imagine where that where the cursor is now, you could get up to, you need to get up to at least there to see over here. Does that make sense?
Your call, Karis. What do you want?
Because that means even if she's invisible, that means a stalk roll up to those bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I could carry her.
My feeling, Kiros, is a fly spell would fly you over that flagstone. But
that room does afford you more cover, right? So if you got over that flagstone, once if things turn to shit, would there be an opportunity?
Fly back out again. Just fly back out the door.
True. Or if she actually went up into the corner, would they be able to fire? I don't know. It's difficult to see, isn't it? You know what I'm saying?
What do you reckon, Kiros?
Can you just step over the flagstone? Like, how big are we?
True.
Yeah. Can I? How big is that stone?
It's 5 foot.
Aye.
I don't know what that means. Can I jump over that?
It's about the height of your gorgeous husband. Your gorgeous, modest husband.
Who's that?
I think he's slightly taller than 5 foot. But anyway,
5'11". 5'11". But
1.5 meters. 1 meter 75.
Okay. So probably not going to be able to just.
no, you can. You would be. I mean, it would be. You'd need to make a maneuver to do it, but it's not an impossible jump. No.
Would it be a jump that made her visible again if she was invisible?
Yes.
When I landed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should I just run
Chris,
and jump it?
Yeah, you
Chris,
could.
you were saying
Sorry,
you
go.
were saying that a second character looking at the same thing wasn't allowed. Was that what you were saying before?
I think no, for something like this, what I'm no, no, for something like this, definitely someone can come up. What I'm kind of not saying is every room,
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
every
Yeah.
single thing is double checked just in case. But no, if someone wants to come forward and have a look, with something suspicious, yeah, definitely. It's more just the kind of the, you know, doubling your chances, like when you make a roll to see if there's something there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of part of the game. So, but no,
Right.
if you are suspicious of a particular object or a particular area or a particular thing, definitely, yeah, someone else can come up and have a look. Sure.
Well, Ethanol may as well do that then.
Okay.
Having heard what Tanya had to say,
Mm-hmm.
if that's all right.
Sure thing. She's making a stalk to get up there.
Identical, yeah.
Okay, make a roll, please. That's generous of the GM actually offering those kind of things. Anyway,
80.
fair to say that it's successful. I mean, there is quite a lot of wooden debris and stuff kind of scattered around, but yep, she makes it up kind of beside this doorway silently. Make a perception roll, please.
So she's got detect traps at plus 46, so that would probably be preferable.
Definitely, it's better than Tanya's 38 for sure. Give me a roll, please.
Oh, 97. Not masked,
It's
but
masked, sorry. Yep.
yeah.
But I am going to ask you to roll again, however.
Oh, let's hope it's up. 81.
Again, it's masked. Okay. Plus 46.
46.
Yep. You're declaring what you're looking for. You do get a bonus of plus 30 if you're absolutely stipulating you're looking for a thing. And you've
I'm looking for a thing.
Yep. But specifically stating what you're looking for. Yeah. So yeah, so Tanya was she's pretty sure she saw that. Neathanol is absolutely emphatic. So Tanya is very quietly whispering to what she could see, and Neathanol spots it in a second, even with the dim light. Yeah, without a doubt, the majority of that flagstone, there's almost like a little raised lip. So the flagstone's set in, and it's only kind of millimeters high. The fact that Tanya spotted it in the first place is pretty amazing. But without a doubt, it looks like pretty much the entire flagstone has the ability to be pressured down. Could it be jammed? Could you attempt to disarm or deactivate some of it? You're not sure. You could certainly give it a go. But according to Neathanol, without a doubt, there is no doubt in her mind. She's certain that there is something that entire flagstone is triggered in some way.
And the one beyond, she would figure is not in comparison.
Correct. Yep. As far as she can see in the lights, this one right here appears to be fine. It's this one, right where someone would step, that is the problem.
And how hard a maneuver would it be for a non-jumpy person to just skip across it?
Good question. Good question. If you would, here we go. Perfect. Jumping. Why doesn't Rolemaster just make things easy? The base jump, standard horizontal, for the average person of 5'11" is equal to the base jump running horizontal divided by 2. The base jump for the average man is equal to 12 plus the strength bonus in inches. Jesus Christ, Rolemaster. What's her strength bonus, please?
We've come up with a different way of doing this, didn't we, Chris? I sent it over. I don't know if that's any less complicated, but
yeah. If you've got it handy, great. If not, I'll make something up. It's not a huge. It's not a huge distance. I would say. An all or nothing light maneuver would be appropriate. There's some risk involved, but it's not a huge distance that you're trying to leap. It's a light maneuver. What happens, guys?
the Karos is cool, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm talking away to myself. I don't know if I want to jump that, to be honest.
I think if you're wanting to be in there invisible, then you can't.
Yeah.
You become visible.
No.
Yeah.
Because you land, right?
Yeah. Personally, I reckon you should fly.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't.
Yep. Ray can classify.
Awesome. So
Yes,
it's not going to run out
please.
of power points for a sleep spell.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I think he should. Yeah, fly is only level 3, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
That would be for like 6 minutes.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time to do a nice wall.
A nice wall.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I suggest perhaps the sequence of things?
Yes, please.
So I would suggest Keros is made invisible and is flying, goes into that room, but does not cast the ice wall just then. She keeps a lookout down the hallway. When there's the right number of creatures in there, she relays that to Tanya, who relays it to whoever, all the way through. Or we just take the initiative, I'm not sure. I suppose the people who are... Well, we want her looking down the hall if she can see that far to warn us that there's no more creatures coming. So when there's the right number of creatures, she alerts people. And the people who are near the portcullis in the other room can do their sleep spells. So that'd be Leif, Grey, and Nicholas. They do their sleep spells. When there's 2 creatures in there and no creatures coming up that hallway, still with no ice wall, then Neathanol can teleport in there, kill them, hopefully, and then get back out. And if any point Keros sees creatures coming, she can cast the ice wall. That would be my suggestion, because then there's no ice wall to distress them and make them make extra noise, and then we're not under quite as much time pressure for Neathanol to get out. So there's no
Yeah, I think she'd be more comfortable if there was a barrier. But you're saying hold the barrier until, because they could all they run in.
Yeah, but which side of the barrier do you want to be on?
But if Keros has got a waiting action.
Yeah, but it'll be down to initiative, won't it? And they're super fast.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Well, perhaps she casts it in the she casts the barrier in the round that Neathanol kills the first one. So as soon as Neathanol's teleported in there, she kills the first one, which makes her become visible, because she was going to be invisible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Neathanol was going to be invisible. So as soon as Neathanol becomes invisible, Keros casts the ice wall, and then Neathanol's got time to kill the second one.
And then teleport her out.
And then teleport her out, or we make a portal, or So Neathanol teleports herself out, or we make a portal and she gets out.
Okay.
How does that sound? Sorry, it sounds a bit convoluted, but I think it would.
No, it's good.
It depends. It does depend on how well Keros can see up that corridor. It really does.
She's got excellent eyesight, right, Jim?
It's not.
So if
poorly, she would
I'm
need.
kidding.
Yep. I mean, imagine. Let's take that light away. And let's kind of give you a sense of exactly how dark it is in here. That's not too far off. So she can see the purple glow. I would definitely be putting a minus on that spell. She can just make out maybe the opening over there, but it's pretty hard. I'd be asking a perception roll, and I'd still be putting a minus on the spell. She would, yeah. She doesn't have the vision of the Elvish characters. She can see it if she's kind of lucky.
The other option is that we don't go into this room. The Whispling is the lookout. Keros and Nicholas and Leif do the sleep spells when we can see only two in that room. As soon as they've fallen asleep, Keros runs up to the bars and has got the vantage to do the ice wall straight away. How does that sound?
To maybe help with your thinking.
Yes, please.
Certainly from here, if she was right up at the bars, and if we turn the light down to what she would actually see, she could definitely make out the entranceway here because it's a lot closer, a lot easier.
Awesome. So if we've got the Whispling, if we've got the Whispling on the lookout, so it can see what's coming up that hallway, it can see when there's the right number of creatures there. But Nicholas won't be able to cast sleep because he's concentrating on the Whispling. Once we've got the right number of creatures in that room, we cast sleep on them. They fall down. And then immediately the round after, rush up to the bars. Ice wall goes up, and the ethanol goes in.
Okay. So Karios and Niathanor should be together then, therefore.
Yes. Well, none of us need to be in this room, in the booby trap room. We can all be through in the other room.
Okay.
So we can all be in the pillar room. Does that make sense? Is that okay with everyone? I don't mean to be directing. But...
If, in terms of providing cover, would it be useful for Tanya to be in the room with the pressure plate?
I reckon. Be ready to be. I reckon it's a great idea. Yep.
Chris, judging of our experiences of gaseous clouds of acid, do we think in the way that behaves, to Tanya's best knowledge, does she think if she were in that room with the well and she were pressed against one of the corners to either side of the grate, do you think that would afford her some cover from attack?
You aren't sure is the answer. They have spat like jets of acid, but it's kind of been clouds of acid at the same time too. If it was a cloud and it went in her direction, it wouldn't be good for her. It probably wouldn't be as severe as getting like a jet of acid at, for example, Etienne's hand or Demos's leg, but she still could be injured, potentially by a cloud of acid.
Right, so she's probably better position herself in the other area than where the other two are going through. Okay.
Well, not necessarily. She would unlikely to take a direct blast because there would be rock wall in between her and her attackers. You think? Although one thing to note, the bars are right here, and the area off to the side. It's not. If you can see there, it's not it's not flush up against the wall. If you can, I'll give you a bit more light. Oops, come here. It's actually kind of more in it kind of narrows to the you see what I'm saying?
No, good. Okay, all right, I won't do that. Okay, so yeah, she'll go back round. Yeah, okay.
What happens?
I guess we go through to the keeping out of range of that. I suppose we're going as sort of semi-quietly.
Okay.
The tentacles have gone.
What's semi-quietly?
What?
And who's going?
Well, why don't is there much point? It's all clanking around there. I mean, I suggest we could probably get as far as there, but in terms of for those, probably no further for those who aren't going to take an active part. Would that be logical? We don't want to make noise for the sake of it.
Yep.
Yes?
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
Yep. How fast do these creatures
Hello?
roam? By the way,
How fast are they?
sort of they wander around. Are they lightning fast, or if we?
No, reasonably slow. Yep, they
Okay.
they certainly move when they need to very quickly, as
Yep.
you've seen. They move with horrible speed, but just moving around. No, quite slow.
So we're all going to remain around those who are not taking active part, keep a fair distance so they don't make any noise. Is that right?
Yep.
I am. I mean, sometimes this is the way a role-playing game works. That certain characters have certain strengths, and they kind of are in the spotlight. I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to contribute. So yeah, anything from any other characters, any thoughts or comments? Yeah, make sure that everybody's got some airspace.
Yeah.
Nope.
Full stream ahead.
Okay.
I just wanted to check that you were all right with it, Anthony, because I wasn't quite sure what your meaning before.
In what way?
Oh, just you were saying this is what you were feeling. This is what we needed to do. Is right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I think all the logic points to we can probably go right around these creatures, but ultimately we're going to have to go through them.
Right. So cool. Okay. So we're good to do this for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. So I suppose who needs to go through there? I don't think Nicholas does. I think his Whispling's range is okay.
What's the range, please, Pete?
100 foot.
Okay. So tell me where he is locating himself.
Oh, he'd be. Well, I think if he was at the doorway with everyone else, the doorway to the pillar room.
Okay.
Yeah. I suppose it's 100. He needs to be able to get the Whistling into the sort of the center of that room, or up the corridor a bit.
Where are you putting it?
Yeah, even further up. Keep going north. Yep, all the way up the corridor where they might be coming down.
So that's actually into the. He's there.
Oh, this is not him. This is his Whistling.
I understand that. That's into the skull room. That's the skull there that I'm touching.
Yep, correct. And if you go directly north of that, that's the corridor. Sorry, you must be a different. Yeah, up straight to the top of the screen, upwards.
Oh, there.
Yeah, that's the hall while they're coming down.
Yep. So that's
the access. So the Whistling can make it there easily, right? If that's what's that, 80 foot?
80 foot. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So Nicholas can stay there. So it'll be Keros, Leif, Grey, Neathanol.
Okay.
And I think Tanya will probably go behind one of the pillars in case she needs to fire.
But is she good enough at sneaking?
Tanya, yeah. Hopefully.
All right. Okay. So who's going first?
Tanya, I reckon. Tanya, then Neathanol.
Okay. Give me a stalk roll, please, Tanya.
100.
Hey!
That'll do.
That will do. Nice one. Roll again.
64. Most does cartwheels then. 64 plus 130, whatever it was.
Nice. That was a light maneuver.
131. Talk about overkill.
Move inspires your allies. Plus 20 to friendly rolls for 3 rounds.
Hey!
That was
That'd be handy.
Ooh, let's make the most of that.
exceptional. Yeah. Tanya, you. It's almost.
So she's taking out. Go on.
Yep. Where does she go?
She's going to take up a position behind. You see the wall. Obviously, there's the long corridor down to the grate, and that exactly there. And she's going to take up position there with a bow, arrow notched, So if she needs to, if it goes horribly wrong, she can at least fire down that corridor at one of the beasts if she has to.
What could
But
go
if she's
horribly wrong?
she's back up really.
Cool. Got it. All right. Great. Tanya's in there. What's happening next?
Neathanol.
Neathanol will want to cast visibility, I think, first. Assuming prep. 62.
Spell successful. Yep.
And then creep down.
Give me a roll.
39.
Plus 20.
Plus a 20. Thank you, Tanya. And plus 113.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Just a second. Oh. That's not what I meant to do. Oops, daisy. Cool. Yep. Where does she move to, please?
Sorry, can I have a look at the corridor to the grate? Well, we're going to need to go quite close to that, aren't we? I guess there's no point in standing by the grate until she absolutely needs to, so she may as well go to the wall, duck around the wall a little bit closer than Tanya. Yeah. And obviously we'll keep wait for kind of Karios's sight. Oh, is Karios going to be invisible?
I don't.
No? Okay.
I don't see a need because she's just going to have to cast a spell. Yeah,
Okay.
her speed
So
spell is going to be
who's-
distraction.
Right, so in other words, Neathanol's going to signal when she should cast. She can do that by mind voice, of course.
Nicholas will be able to do it through the whispering.
Okay. All right, of course, yep. In which case, she may as well creep up and get a sense of which creatures are in the room before moving right up.
Oops. Wait. Approximately there.
Yeah, and I guess she'd just like to ascertain how many she thinks are in the room, and if there's, she won't bother. If she's certain there's lots, then she won't bother moving up to the bars. But where she thinks there are less, she'll go and have a little peek and see if it's time.
Okay, sure thing. Cool. Next character, please.
Nicholas will move to the edge of the who's there in the doorway there, Grey. Yeah, Nicholas will move to basically where Grey was, so he can whisper in a loud whisper his reports of what's happening, and he'll move the whistling to the access corridor to the skull room.
When was he doing that in relation to these two characters moving up?
Actually, I was sort of asking about it before, so he would prefer to have done that as early as possible.
Oh,
basically.
okay. In that case, sorry, I should have done some rolling before. I'll just do that now. So actually, I'm going to hold those two actions from both Neathanol and Tanya just for a second.
And he is keeping the whistling as high as possible.
Understood.
Instead.
Understood. Yep. Understood. Cool. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. We may need. I'll hold those rolls for two other stalks, but I hadn't realised that we should have moved the whistling first. I hadn't quite realised that. So yeah. So the whistling was here, and it moves over, and at this stage, you're kind of in luck initially because a couple of these things, and including this massive tall creature, seem more interested in wandering off here. One of them is kind of pacing backwards and forwards up in front of the bars here. However, Where's the other one? No. We'll use this guy here. However, pure dumb stupid luck. Now this thing is 20 foot up in the shadows. One of these creatures, however, moving over here, looks like it was actually about to go into the door. Suddenly kind of freezes. The Wispling's obviously focused on it. It looks up. And then there's just this horrible sound. And a blast of acid comes up towards your Wispling.
Poor Wispling.
Oh dear.
So you're gonna have to help me with this, with your critters agility, please, Pete.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. What's its DB, please?
60.
Wow, it's fast. But I'm sorry, not fast enough. It takes 16 in a B heat.
Oh, heat. Interesting.
Oh, sorry, 6 in a B acid, I should say.
Hmm.
And there's the critical.
Yeah.
It was a 96 on the critical.
Oh, it's got 30 hits. So, yeah. Poor Wispling.
The Wispling just disintegrates, and these things just start rioting. There's noise and flashing and screaming. Any ill effects on Nicholas when your Wispling is destroyed?
The spell doesn't list it, no.
Okay, you're in luck.
Yeah. Well, I would be a lot more cautious if there were.
So, Nicholas, that room just goes black for you.
Yeah. Cool. And so I suppose, I made that call without your consultation, Graham, but I just thought that probably was what would sequence of events, was to get the eyes in sight first. So I hope you don't mind. Okay. So your people probably haven't moved yet.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Nicholas can resummon another Wispling. We can follow the same plan, but I think we should give it a bit of time for things to calm down.
Yes.
All right.
And he is running down on PowerPoints, that's for sure.
All right. You duly wait. It takes probably a good half an hour for the creatures to stop their hissing and their thrashing around and just start to kind of pad backwards and forwards. And you can repeat the process again, please, Pete. Cast for the Wispling.
Yep. Whoops. It's not the thing. Oh dear. The last thing I had in my clipboard, because I usually, just if people like the tip, I usually have the roll stored in my clipboard and I just paste it.
Good idea.
But the last thing I had in my clipboard was the copy of the of the dog of the yeah. So it's about pasting that instead of a roll. 58.
58. Cool. The spell's successful. You go through the same process again. Oh, this time you are really lucky when you cast it. And actually, all of these things, bar one, have moved off. There's only one of these dog critters which is in that room. All of the others have moved into undisclosed territory through here. Does this creature notice? Yeah, I mean, the Wispling comes through the bars up here. It gives no sign that it's seen anything. And you position its, Pete, around kind of here-ish? High, obviously.
Yeah, it's with as best vantage up that corridor as possible. Even further up the corridor if that gives it better sight lines depending on the light.
Okay.
We want as much warning of stuff coming as possible.
Yeah, okay. So positioning it in that place does give you a little bit more of a view what's up there. I'll just illuminate it for you. So you're reasonably close to the source of the purple, so I'm happy to illuminate this a little bit more.
Cool.
The first thing you notice, absolutely, is this. Without a doubt, there's a lot more of this foul, horrendous black slime and mold. Just to refresh your memory, guys, I'll show you what it looks like. There was some in that room with the skull, certainly, but here it's a lot more pronounced. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's just this black. Oops. I don't wanna, so coming into the chat now. The first thing, yeah. So there's some here, and you can see it on the ground here. But absolutely, in through here, there's a lot more of it. And the other thing that you note is, and the whispering just makes it out, is this kind of angelic statue at the far end of the room, and there is a passageway that it could see leading off here. But there's definitely quite a bit of room, it looks like, through here, and these creatures are kind of roaming around, or either roaming around or out of your field of vision, bar one, which is kind of doing its pacing up and around here.
Oh, Nicholas will pass on that information.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Yep.
Okay. What should we? I think we should probably go into rounds. Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Here we go.
Nicholas, you're probably going to have to tell Carius when to go, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's going to be Keros, Leif, and
First to act, or first with the ability of acting, is Neathanol. Neathanol, I'm happy to take your movement that you did last time, your stalk, up to the position that you chose.
Cool. And then after that, she'll prepare.
Cool. Next up is... sorry, which one is this? It's that one, number 4. Okay. Gray, anything from yourself?
Kind of just preparing and waiting for further clarity.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Askell, ditto yourself. Anything?
So I've probably had time to get over the lack of not being able to cast that spell, so I thought I'd have another crack at
Yeah, sure thing.
casting.
Sure thing. I'm happy to say in a situation like this that you would have had time to prepare.
Yep.
So if you remember how it works, you wait 40 seconds to psych yourself into casting the spell, then you try for your transcend armor, and in the same round that you try for your transcend armor, you cast the spell.
Yep.
You do have the option of, if you don't make the transcend armor roll, you don't have to cast the spell. Your call. Cool.
Okay.
So first is the transcend armor. Make a roll, please.
It's a 61, but I think I need. What did I need? 101, didn't I?
101, yeah. Plus 45.
Yes. So 106.
106. Success.
Yeah.
You don't have the spell penalty. Make a roll, please, for the spell.
9. Ouch.
9 plus 20 for preparation. The spell is successful. Huzzah!
It's a shield up.
Hang on. Here we go. There is now a shield up. Cool. Askell, that's your round.
Now, did you want to do the 50 now, or you want to save it till later?
Oh, I forgot the 50.
So I get a double XP because I've reminded you twice.
Yeah. I think, as the GM, and to move the story on a little bit, I would like to get a chance to resolve what's kind of in play at the moment. But at the very beginning of next session, that 50 is going to be resolved, whatever it may be.
Cool. Is that if I remind you, or
No, we've got a recording, and I really hope that the sound. By the way, I'm going to have to look into my computer settings because it cuts out. So when you watch this back, you'll sometimes hear the sound your voice is completely cut out for some reason. But we've got a recording. There's proof. So at the beginning of next session, re-roll the 50. Come hell or high water, you might be in the middle of something horrible, and we roll that 50. So we definitely do it, but we do it at the beginning of next session.
okay, sounds good.
But again, thank you for your honesty, and definitely some XP there. 100 XP for honesty. That was Askel's go. Next is Keros.
Should I be holding to wait to be told?
I reckon. I think Leif's going to take the lead on this spell.
Yeah,
on
can I
the sleep spell?
Can I
Yeah.
come back to it?
Can you what, sorry?
Can I come back at the end when I get my instructions?
Yeah, opportunity action, sure thing. Yep.
That's what I... Cool, thank you.
Lovely. Jadar is torch holder. Anything else that Jadar's doing at present?
Where is she?
Oh, somewhere in the throng of characters holding a lantern or holding a torch. She's somewhere here.
Yeah. No, I mean she can just sort of stay in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up is Nicholas.
Nicholas is looking through the Wispling's eyes and reporting everything he sees.
Cool.
Definitely noting what's up that corridor.
Anything for Leif?
Yes. He would like to honestly say that's a really good shield spell. Does that get him 100 XP?
Nice try.
No, he's being honest. No, that is a really cool spell. So he, I think this is about the range he did it from last time. So with Nicholas's report that, Nicholas report that he thinks Leif will be able to see that acid dog if he steps out?
Let's see. Yeah, it's wandered its way kind of into here. It's kind of, it definitely hasn't come up the steps. It's within. Yeah, it's there.
So Leif's I hope that's okay. That he would have been preparing 4 rounds, knowing what the plan is.
Yes.
Yep. He would step out, and cast sleep on it.
Okay. Make a roll, please. Tanya, I because of the roll previously, even though we haven't gone in order, I'm happy to say that you would have moved to there if you wish to be. Up to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Thanks, yeah, just cover. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Leif, you here somewhere. Leif is there. You step out, and you cast what will be a very important spell. At the distance.
Good, I rolled so well.
The distance is 48 foot. There is moderate light. The light's not awful. What's the roll, please?
That's a whole 17.
Oh.
This I will say this is the spell that for each, so it's a sleep 6 spell. For each level over that of the creature, it's a -10 to its resistance roll.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Hang on. So 17. You've prepared for 4 rounds. So that's plus 20.
Yes.
The
Level
range.
7.
Yep. The range gives you neither a minus or a bonus. You're level 7. It's that level. Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. Say what you were saying again, please, Pete.
Sorry. Oh, actually, no. Sorry. It's a 10th. It's a sleep 10 spell. Yes. And so he can sleep up to 10 level. It affects 10 levels. For every level over the creature's level, up to 10.
Yes.
It's an extra. Each level is an extra. Well, I'll read it. -10 for each additional level. The target's resistance roll is modified by a -10 for each additional level.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, so it's got to roll. That's a hugely tough spell. So, without that additional thing of the modification for the difference in levels, it was going to be very little amount. It's now quite a lot. This thing has to roll a 71 or better to resist falling asleep. Here's the roll coming in the chat right now. Exclamation mark RD. Whoops, I'm in capitals. RD100 coming at you right now. 71 or better. 85.
Oh, okay. Grey up. So, yeah, Grey's turn, I reckon. Sorry. The plan would have been that if Leif failed, then Grey would have a go, and then Keros would have a go, because they've had their initiative.
Yep.
If that's okay. Yeah.
Not necessarily. Depends on
Not
how
okay.
the reactions of this thing having a target suddenly in front of it. Let's see if it notices Nicholas stepping out. You didn't say you were stalking.
Because that would have meant he couldn't cast,
Correct.
I assume.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, it had to roll a 95, a total result of 95 or better, and it rolled a 127. So it catches a glimpse, or it sees something. It sees Nicholas, and that's it. It just goes ballistic. It's spitting, and it's clearly not happy. But it is still by itself, and the jets of acid, which sound horrible, and sound like this, are only coming down to about here. So they're well short of Nicholas, and at that range they're relatively ineffectual from Tanya as well. So it's spat something at Nicholas. Next character is to act. Etienne, anything from you? Going once.
No.
Cool.
No.
Afsun pauses. Mithan, anything from you?
Nope.
Cool. Demos, anything from yourself?
Nope. Just chilling.
Chilling? Chilling?
Chilling.
Just making sure you're still there, Mason.
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay. Severin. Going, nope.
No. He's his sword at the ready.
Yep.
I don't know what he's going to do, but
Anything from Tanya? She's just seen Leif step out. A gout of acid has just kind of spattered at her feet. Anything from her?
No, she's ready to opportunity action, ready to fire, but wants to see how the sleep spell's going to go.
Sure thing. Great, you're next.
Okay. Well, I guess it's his turn to kind of have a go at putting him to sleep.
Okay. Step out.
So he would quietly creep out without stalking. He'd just be not stalking, but like almost stalking.
Almost stalking. Give me a roll, please.
Cool. Sorry, I just lost my window. Uh, 51. Oh, sorry, I put that in the wrong channel.
That doesn't matter. 51. Cool.
51.
And he's what level, please?
Level 6.
Level 6. Thank you. He's prepared for 20. He has neither a positive nor negative on his roll, and the result is okay. He's level 6, and this thing is that level. Okay. It's got to roll a 35 or better. Here's the roll coming. Sorry, it's got to roll a 93 or better. Beg my pardon.
Cool. Okay.
Exclamation mark RD100. Bang. Rolls a 61. This thing,
He-
this thing just collapses on the ground.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! That was Slept's 4th level.
Throw the wall up, and
And that is the end. Oh, sorry, Keros. You were opportunity action. What do you do?
Where am I again? Sorry, if you could just.
Here.
I don't think I'm going to do anything, am I?
I think you're going to throw the wall up, eh?
Am I doing that now?
Yep.
We can't see anymore, so
So put it up?
yeah.
Yep. If you can get it in range, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to have to move in.
So you can move. So casting a spell,
Yeah.
you can move. You have 25% of your round left to act. So it's whether you can cover the distance of here. Here to there, which is 40, what is that? 43 feet.
Right.
44 foot in 25%.
I reckon I can do that.
So,
I agree.
so what's your base movement rate, please, Keros?
Base movement rate unencumbered
Mm-hmm.
is 50.
50.
Yep. 50.
50. So your job to figure out what speed you need to be moving to make 48 foot. You can move
Promptly.
so you can move at either times 1, which is 50, times 2, which is 100, times 3, which is 150, times 4, 200, or times 5.
What's the 50? Is that feet?
So each round walking, you can move 50 foot walking in a round.
Oh. But I want to do that in a quarter of a round.
Correct. So you need to tell me what speed you're traveling to be able to do that in a quarter of a round.
Well, that's maths.
Yep.
Yeah. You need 200 foot, don't you?
5 4's the 20. Yeah, 200.
Because 50.
So-
50 yeah.
That's a fast sprint then, isn't it? Times 4.
Correct. So to do
Maths question.
But we
At 10
can't do
o'clock at
that.
night. No, so that's not going to work, is it? 5 4's the 20, base movement, fast sprint, easy.
But because we can only go up 2 levels of run.
Yeah.
So I reckon you run to where Neathanol is.
Where's Neathanol?
So you don't cast this round, but you run
But
to
just
Neathanol.
move up to Neathanol.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is, fairly close, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. And then next round, move out and cast a wall. That's
Put
what
the
I reckon.
wall up. Okay.
All right.
Yes, please.
Okay, so first roll will be a routine because you're going from a standing start. Good point. You can't run, you can't do a fast sprint in a round. It takes 2 rounds to build up that speed. So give me a routine running maneuver to get up to where Neathanol is, please.
Okie dokie. So annoying. 34?
34 plus your agility is what, please? Agility bonus.
Is plus 23.
Plus 23, 57. Yeah, bang. That's a result of 100. You move that distance, no problem at all. So, Keros, wherever you are, Keros is here. Keros, you're now standing here, and you're obviously visible. Nicholas and Gray, you are, just for the sake of the game, you guys are approximately there. You're standing approximately shoulder to shoulder. Keros, you're there, and that is the end.
The plan was for Keros to be where next to where Neathanol is, so she
Can I
would
be,
shuffle along.
behind something?
Yeah,
I don't
undercover. Yep.
I want to be stealth baby, like behind. Yes.
Okay. So
Just in case.
You're in there. Okay.
Don't want to be hanging out in the corridors.
Okay. Cool. That is the end of that round. Next round. Is initiative. We'll roll initiative. And we're off. So in the other room, or somewhere else, there is this monstrous, would be if the GM can. There you go. Yeah, just this noise from that other creature, and you hear the sound of running footsteps. Next up is Jada. Any actions from light carrier?
No, if we're just moving forward slightly or just loitering, then yep, I think Jada's good.
Cool. Okay. All right. Where did my other baddie go? Oh, I've lost my critter. That is really annoying. Where'd he go? Oh, it must be in here. Oh. Damn it. 1 second, team. Copy. Paste. Bang. No, damn it. Copy. Now it's invisible, of course, that's the trouble. Where's somebody who can reveal some light? You guys, you can. There you go. That's point number 1, number 2. Cool. Give me 1 second. Number 2. Yes. Yeah, this critter here, Whispling, you see dart out from here and race over to the bars here. Oops. Has gone somewhere over here. Next up, Neathanel. Keros has just appeared beside you.
Well, opportunity action. She's not going to do anything until the ice wall's up, and she's confident that whatever's in there is asleep.
Okay. Number 3. So like a cloaking spell on all the critters in here that render them invisible, and I need to have a revealer that shows actually where they are, which is really annoying. Come on, where do they go? Okay. Another one of these things bounds out of here, and yeah, is kind of snuffling and snarling and running around kind of behind the skull. So one has run over here. There is an asleep one here, and then there's a third Whispling that you've seen going there. Askell, anything from you? You now have your shield up.
Where's he, Ken?
He's here. in this group of characters. You can effectively put them wherever you like.
Oh yeah. No, I guess we're waiting for the outcomes of the others doing so. He can just hang.
Okay. Alrighty. There's also the sound of running feet from somewhere through here. Next up, Gray.
Hello.
What do you do?
Sorry, I actually was just in the loop, so I'm a little bit out of the loop.
It's alright. Some of the critters have started to move and come out from here.
Are they in sleep putting range?
You haven't seen them, no.
Hmm.
They've run past the grate initially. Nicholas knows where they are, but whether he'd be able to communicate to you in time in an intelligent way, because it's happening too fast, I don't know. I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah.
You did see one of them run past.
Okay. Is there anywhere that he could go? Kind of like, I don't know. Would where Tanya is have a better kind of view on it if he kind of slinked over around there?
Yeah, potentially.
Yep.
So moving up here. Yep.
Yeah, just to see if there's a better view.
He can't. Yeah, he does see one kind of pacing around over here, sniffing at the bars over here.
That's probably a bit too far for him to do the old sleepy trick.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a full vision. Yeah. Anything else he's doing other than that move?
Just preparing.
Okay, cool. Leif.
Leif will say to Kiros, wait a bit, meaning wait until the end of the round, and then
How's he saying this, Pete?
he will do it. He knows where she is. He's seen where she's gone. He's going to whisper as loud as he knows he needs to
That's
communicate with her.
30 foot away. That's the length of our lounge at home away.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. So you'll say, Kiros, wait a bit. Run to cast your wall. I'll get you out of there.
Okay. With that, one of these horrible things comes around from the side. The second one here appears. And goes here. God damn it. Hang on, guys. For fuck's sake. Okay. There we go. Let's try that now. Copy, paste, bang. 2. 3. Alright, there we go. We now have counters. So, one is was over here. One you had seen run in that direction. And wherever the fourth one is, you're not sure. But certainly, when you whisper Leif, it seems to hear you, rushes over, and starts hissing and spitting. Okay. Anything else that probably took about, I don't know, 20% of your action, Leif? Anything else you're doing this round?
No, he will hold.
Okay.
Yep, just like opportunity action.
Cool. Anything from Etienne?
No.
Cool.
No.
Cool. Anything from Nicholas?
Yes, absolutely. He'll say, there are too many, don't do the wall.
Okay, cool.
So loud enough for Kiros to hear.
Jan, question.
Yep.
Where a killing blow, does that have to come from a kind of knife or blade at close quarters, or can it come from an arrow when you have a sleeping creature?
Yeah, I get the question. I think that question is about range. Even someone who's a good shot, they can kind of miss their shot a little. So I would say if someone is very close to a sleeping creature, they can probably accurately put it right in the forehead. In other words, a coup de grace shot, and you would slay the creature concerned. I think at range, even with someone who is a very good marksman or markswoman, it's too much of a risk. So you'd need to be close, very close. You're going to ask what's very close. I'm going to say certainly within 15 foot.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Good to know, though. Okay.
Yep. Next on the list. Nicholas has said that. Anything else from Nicholas's action?
He'll also say, let's put them to sleep, basically.
Okay. Anything from Mithun?
Nope, nothing from her.
Cool. Keros.
Sorry, my iPad's really slow. Am I the last? I would.
What are you doing?
Yep. I'm going to listen to my teammates, and then I'm ready to throw my wall.
Okay, cool. So, preparing or waiting,
Yeah.
basically. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Demos, anything from yourself?
No, just I guess being ready in case anything happens. Just sword and shield up.
Sure thing.
Cool.
Tanya?
Opportunity action, really. She doesn't. Yeah, I mean, she just wants to see what's going to happen with these sleep spells, and we'll take direction on that. If it all kicks off, she will shoot the one that's currently asleep, but doesn't want to do that just yet. I think she's assuming that characters are going to be casting more sleeps who can.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. And lucky last in the round, 7.
No, nothing much she can do.
Cool. It's bang on.
Leif would like to do one more sleep spell, if it's all right.
He was preparing. He
had an opportunity action. He was either going to, if Keros didn't hear, and she rushed out, she was going to cast leave on her.
Yep.
But also, as she didn't, and she's waiting and preparing, he was going to cast sleep. That was his.
Okay, so he spoke for 20% of his rounds,
Yep.
which means he's got 80% left. Yep. Casting a spell is 75%. Yes, he can. Go for it.
With a snap cast. Snap. 71 though. 71.
Is it a snap?
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is no prep. That's what I mean.
Yes, he's right. So he needs to prepare. He hasn't prepared. Cool.
Yes,
it's a 71. Negative 30 because of no preparation.
Yep.
We determined there was no range, no positive nor negative on the range. Plus 7th level, is that right? 6th level.
Correct. Yep, correct. 7th. Yep.
Cool. Cool. All right.
This affects 6 levels.
Cool. Thank you. All right. He is that. it is that. So, okay, cool. It needs to beat a 68. Here we go. Oh, well, hang on. Just let me check. Which one was it? It was that one, number 2. Was it number 2? 2. Beg my pardon. No. Sorry. I'm sorry, Pete. It needs to beat a 63. The all-important 63.
Well, it
All right.
could be.
It could be, yeah. Exclamation mark. RD 100 coming at you, 63 or better.
Yes!
This one here collapses asleep on the ground as well.
Snoozy.
Two of them are down snoozing. Guys, it's 2 minutes past 10. I am flying at 7:20 in the morning. I'm still happy to continue for another little bit longer if people want to. I'm also more than happy to call it there. What's the decision?
Hey, it's daylight here. I'm all good.
Yeah, I need to go. I've got an early start tomorrow. It's been a long week as well.
Yeah, I'm keen for bed too. Sorry, folks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got a bit of freelance to do tonight.
Oh, man.
Freelance tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Okay. Let's call it there. Yeah. Hope you have fun.
Thanks. Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, it was a lot of spells tonight.
Oh, that's cool.
That's all good.
Good. That's good.
Excellent. Tune in next week to see what happened.